is Veterans Office. Do you have anything, Noel?
No report today, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. County Sealer, Wayne Taylor. Anybody have anything for Wayne?
Yes, I do.
Come on right up, Wayne. Morning, Wayne. Randy?
Morning, Wayne. I'd like to just a brief update on how you're making out with the enforcement of the occupancy tax and the vacation rentals.
Well, we have been working on it quite a bit. I did get a clarification letter from the county attorney as to the applicability of the occupancy tax to vacation rentals per se. There had been some confusion by some people as to the applicability of it because they had been given guidance in the past about the occupancy tax followed the bungalow law and how the amendment did change that. And again, I got an opinion out of Mr. Manning that I was able to send to some of these people. I've got 4 people that we're currently going to start an enforcement action with for non-compliant hotel motels. Other than that, it's just a work in progress.
But you're continuing to send letters on a regular basis,
yes,
notifying people?
Pardon me?
Yeah, because I'm getting questioned by people, because everybody's doing it, of course. Are there letters going out? And I said, to my knowledge, there are.
Yes.
Basically weekly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Somebody else over here had their hand?
I just was wondering the numbers, Wayne. We never get a report on your numbers of what's going on as far as that, like the occupancy and stuff.
Okay, well, that information comes out every month in a report from the Treasurer's Office.
It's in the Treasurer's report.
It's in the Treasurer's report, the new...
In terms of the amount of money collected
Right,
on the
right. But as far as, like, new places, programs put on, stuff of that nature,
Yeah, I'd be real curious in that also.
that's just kind of what I was looking for.
I agree.
All right, so we can develop some kind of occupancy.
Okay. In terms of new registrations and things
New
like...
registrations, maybe number of people contacted this month, 25, 12 people signed up, just so we kind of got an idea that something's getting done.
Sure will.
Thank you.
No problem.
Mr. Scott,
Wayne, I was reading an article in the Post-Star about card readers.
Yes.
Do we, and they stated down there that I believe their weights and measures are checking that?
Yes.
So do we do that when you go out and do the...
We do some
tool you need, or,
Last year, in particular, the state had sent us out a request that we do a skimmer audit of every station in the county, which I did with the assistance of the state specialist. We went around and typically you just check them up and open them up and you can see they can plug them in. It can be done just in a matter of seconds.
so it is something we're doing then?
Oh yes, definitely, yeah. They did find them where they were actually licensed Bluetooth radio transmitters installed inside the enclosure of a gas station. Usually they happen in areas where there's little or no video coverage, kind of the furthest dispenser away, closest to the interstate is where they've been finding them. But we have found none here.
We did? You did discover some here, or did...
We did not, no.
Thank you.
anybody else have any questions for me? If not, thank you. Board of Elections, any report?
We have no report today. Here, if you have questions, I'll do my best to answer.
Anybody have any questions for Board of Elections? Okay, thank you very much for coming. District Attorney? No report, still left. Okay. Emergency Services? Don? You have a resolution?
I do. Good morning.
Morning.
We've had some issues at our 911 center due to the connection of home alarm systems where they're programmed to dial 911 in the event of an alarm, which could be low power, the furnace went out, that type of thing. So I've been in conversation, so has Mike Blaze, with Dan Manning, and we would like to adopt a local law that prohibits the connection of any alarm system to directly connect to our 911 center by dialing 911 or other emergency numbers.
Somebody want to move that resolution? Moved by Mr. Moore, second by Mr. Miga. Any questions? Tyler?
I'm not on the committee, but what type of, are you talking about like municipalities or something are dialing in, or what's going on?
Well, these are homes. In one instance, we were having a search for an overturned boat on Lake Champlain several weeks ago, and this individual in Screw Lake had his alarm system connected to our 911 center by directly dialing 911. And in doing that, he literally dialed the center over 100 times. And they were coming like every 4 minutes, which during that busy time, we had helicopters up in the air and the whole thing, and this thing was dialing every 4 minutes, so it tied up a dispatcher just for those calls. And that's how those things can become dangerous. So yes, it is a problem with home alarm systems, but I say any alarm system, ADT, all the companies that install these systems have call centers. And it goes to the call center first, and then they call us. And we don't want direct connection to our 911 trucks.
Who's setting these systems up? Is it the homeowners or the business owners themselves who are setting 911 as
The homeowner, in this case, it was the homeowner.
But I mean, like the ADT and stuff, that they don't...
Right, it goes to a call center. But this homeowner refused to comply, and so, unfortunately, we had to have his phone disconnected.
So when you say refuse to comply, you're saying there's already laws against this?
No.
No?
We requested that he stop programming the alarm system to dial 911.
So there's no laws that prohibit someone from doing this currently?
Not at the county
That's why
level.
we need the local law.
Right. We thought there was time, but we researched it. Ray Thatcher brought this up many years ago. We just never followed through with it. So Dan's been looking at sample laws, so we could compose one, and then come back to the board and have it approved.
Yeah, they're gone through, I don't know if it was through you, Don, or through Mike, they sent me one law, and there's a ton, I got about 6 or 7 from other counties, and there's different ways to do it, but it's commonly done. The penalties are fines generally, and I think what we would do is not only limit it to homeowners, but maybe we should put a provision in there that prohibits the ADTs of the world from programming that way.
Yes.
You know, not only finding the landowner, the homeowner, but go after the company. But they're out there. It's not like I'm going to reinvent the wheel. I'm just going to copy over somebody else's stuff, maybe put a few extra things in there. But there are 2 different ways to do it. One is to directly penalize them if they do it. Another is to provide a permit type of thing, and I'm kind of looking at that, wondering whether we want to get into permitting. And I think if the first option is legit and doesn't violate anybody's rights, we'll go that way.
Anybody else? No?
Just a question, so we would still allow homeowners, say like myself, as long as we were using a call center?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
that would be included in that?
No, it's just the automatic calls that they get.
The problem was that the call kept coming and there was no way to get a hold of the individual to say, stop doing this, you know? I mean, because it was on a seasonal house and it just kept dialing and dialing. But that's not the first time this house is dialed in.
No, that's
Yeah.
second or third.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
And my question, I agree, this has got to change. You know, you can't have that, you know, especially when you're out doing what you were doing that day. But my question is the legality of, you said you had their phone disconnected from the 911 system?
We had his phone, Verizon terminated his summer home phone service.
What's the legality of that toward us stepping in to that situation and terminating his phone service?
I do not know that answer. All I know is that they did it.
I'm just wondering, did we set ourselves up, until this?
Yeah, I don't think so. I almost think that would fall under like even a nuisance call. If you had somebody...
It should be common sense.
Right. I mean, I think if you had somebody making a nuisance call that constantly called in and in and in, I think the telephone provider themselves could say, you know what, you're abusing the line, we're going to shut it off.
Just playing devil's advocate. Dan, you got an opinion on that?
Non-public. I can see lots of different things that could happen. I think, there's a public safety aspect too of these things. And you didn't have it completely cut off, right? It was just for that day or...
Well, yes, and then they reconnected it and then he did it again.
In a limited circumstance, I think that you're okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Good question.
I think this needs to be done. I've been having security companies for the last 20 years now, the town of Chesterfield, the Knights of Columbus, my own personal, never been asked, do you want it to go to 911? It's who do you want to be first on the call list, myself or my water superintendent, my highway superintendent. This amazes me that this was even being done. Yeah. I guess so. Okay, if not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Resolution carries.
I have a second resolution. It's simply to approve this year's list of deputy fire coordinators. That list is on your desk, I would hope. And so I need a resolution to approve that list.
Somebody want to move that? Mr. Mega, second on it. Mr. Zorn? Any discussion on the list? If not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Resolution carries. You have some discussion on 518?
Yeah, I just wanted to briefly, it's been in the paper. Actually, I had this set up before they put it in the paper, but, so basically, we're going to do a 518 overlay, 838. It's going to overlay 518 area code. The reason being they ran out of phone numbers. So, in saying that, effective March 18th, callers should start dialing the 10-digit number. You'll still get through if you only dial 7 digits, but they want you to start practicing. But by August 19th, if you don't dial the 10-digit number, it won't go through. So that's just a little thing I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of. We're already reprogramming our system to work for that new overlay, so I just wanted the general public to know it as well, and it's been in the paper.
Don, have they started putting out the 838 numbers?
No, that won't happen until, I believe, September.
Any questions on that, Don? Any other questions for Don? Do you have anything else, Don?
No, you've got my monthly report, so I hope it's adequate.
Any questions on that?
Just one question. When we have trees down, 911 calls the 911 center, phones up the fire department,
Yes.
but they don't seem to make contact with our highway department. And really, those are the people that handle down trees.
We could make that a protocol or procedure, but generally, with a down tree, if it's involving power lines, we don't want the highway department responding and moving it, because they could be electrified. So,
Anybody
yes.
to electrify.
Electrocuted.
Okay, so,
I got a small dose there.
but what I'm saying, Wes, is
You
that
electrified, you get here like...
generally, we would call the fire department. They would block. Now, if it's just a down tree, we usually left that up to the fire department incident commander to call the highway crew if they needed to move the tree. But we could do that if that's a request.
Just, to notify the highway department, because 9 times out of 10, it's not a tree that's fallen out of wire, it's just trees that are in the road.
We can set a protocol in place to do that if that's what you wish.
That'd be, and the highway department's usually out when this is happening anyhow, so to take other people and assign them to that desk. I mean, the fire department would also call ISIC as well. I mean, we would.
Yeah. We notify the power company every time that there's a reported involvement with a downed tree and a power line, or down power lines. Yep.
Okay. Anybody else? Thank you, Don.
Thank Thank you.
Emergency medical services.
Thank you for that report.
Morning, everybody. Just a real brief report. Most of my stuff's, all my stuff is in that report as well. We started our day course. We have 7 people, including 2 deputies, so it seems to be going really well. The subcommittee has also met. We have another meeting coming up soon to start talking about tactics. And I believe in April we will have a full report to you guys on the EMS, the results of the EMS committee, or at least starting down a path. I have one with it, just lost my memory. Oh, the Narcan stuff. So, I can tell you for a fact that we've had several reversals in our county, and we've had several deaths that were not reversible by the time the squads or law enforcement got there. What I think I'm going to try to do is track on the EMS side as much as I can when these do happen, and keep it vague, but kind of give a report back on that. But it's definitely very clear that there's an issue just like the rest of the state in our county. So, and it happens everywhere. So we are definitely seeing deaths and reversals from that.
Anybody have any comments?
Yeah, are we making any headway at all with the state in regards to formation of a countywide district where we can support?
I know Randy has been speaking to Dan, correct, about that. Dan Manning, not Dan Palmer.
Yes, I have asked Dan Manning to investigate that.
Just last week, so, but I mean, I know how to do other districts.
No, I
so,
know. I think
if it's ready to be done, we'll get it done.
it's absolutely needed.
If in fact the governor's proposal that we have to come up with some kind of a consolidation plan with the local town, with the towns, goes through the state budget, I think that would be a good place to start. You'd say, okay, let's form a countywide district, and that would, in fact, reduce tax cost
Significantly, and when you take the 18 towns and then eliminate all of the exemptions, the cost is not going to be as significant as it is on just one town when they have to go out and form a district, so.
The study that we're doing with the EMS strategy and stuff like that, I mean, I think you're going to see that come out because they're going to be presenting a number of courses of actions from which we will, pick from, and I think, I'm not going to put words in their mouth, but I think you'll see that.
Any other questions for Patty? If not, thank you very much. Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Cotton. I don't have a resolution, but come on right up then, Sheriff. Come on right up to the podium.
Oh, I understand.
We can record you.
So this is how many times you respond.
Good morning.
As you know, when we built the facility, we built large enough to take in boarders. We actively seek counties and federal reimbursement. With the February reimbursement billings that just went out, we have crossed $10 million in that extra space for the facility.
Any questions for the sheriff while he's up here? Mr. Monte?
Over what time frame was that, Richard?
Since we opened in 2007.
Okay. And my question, I've been thinking about this since we had a request to raise a salary because of the work in a certain department. Is there a reason that the fingerprinting that gets done in personnel couldn't be done in public safety by the deputies?
It probably wouldn't be done by deputies, but it could be done. I don't know what the caseload is there. I mean, I don't always have a deputy in the building. They're out on transports and complaints and whatnot.
But someone at the building there that could do it?
Probably could.
Because it's scheduled. I'm just trying to think, because they said that their workload was pretty substantial. If we took that out of the equation, and as law enforcement, fingerprinting is done, not every day, but
It's
pretty close.
With 500 to 600 bookings a year, yeah, it's done every day, multiple times a day.
The experience there for doing it is there.
Yeah.
And stuff, so I was just thinking that it might behoove us as a county to move our fingerprinting center from here to the public safety building. Would you be agreeable to it if that was to happen?
I wouldn't be against it. I'd have to see what kind of space it takes, and then we can set some definite times, and...
Good. Thank you. Okay. Anything else? Mr. Tyler?
Yeah, I'm not on the committee, but I just read in the paper today where the sheriff from Mulville he said he saved like $280,000 by using the home confinement. I was wondering if we've ever researched that.
We haven't, because we do have the space. His savings comes in the fact that he's not paying Essex County to board those inmates. I don't have glasses on me. I can tell you what Franklin County has spent to Essex, and they spend a considerable amount of money boarding their inmates here. We looked at it back in the old facility, but since we moved into the new one, we do have the space. With the infrastructure in place in the correctional facility, an extra inmate a day ranges about $8 to $10. So whether we have 70 or 80, each inmate that comes in to feed, clothe, laundry, cleaning, etc., is about $8 to $10 a day. We haven't looked at that home monitoring. We can contact probation and see, but it does take quite a bit of screening ahead of time to determine eligible candidates.
Thank you.
Anybody else? If not, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Probation, Stevie? Are you hiding back there?
You have a great report, so anybody got any questions?
I do. Come on right up. Mr. Preston? So I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
What's your honest take on the governor's proposal with the juveniles and what that's going to do to your department? I'd like your honest feedback, please.
Well, all probation directors, or pretty much all probation directors, are in favor of raise the age. However, it really cannot be done easily and effectively, I feel, without the funding that was promised last year, that is not promised this year. It's going to impact our department. It will impact the county attorney's office, DSS, agencies that they contract with. Well, I think it is a really good idea. It really has to come with the funding.
Thank you. Mr. Dillon?
Following up on that, just off the cuff, how many new probation officers are we going to have if raise the age comes into effect?
The problem in answering that is we have no idea what the numbers of the 16, 17-year-olds that are charged with violations, because it's non-fingerprintable, so we don't have access to that number. Just with the numbers that I see now, we would need at least one probation officer. But I don't know how many harassment and discons are out there.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, Julie gave me a resolution that is being circulated around the state, particularly out of probation departments, that specifically asks that the state fully fund raising the age of criminal responsibility to 18 years of age for any increased cost to the counties related to this. I think it's probably a good idea if we pass the resolution. I have a copy of it here. I'll get to Dan. But essentially, we're just saying that, you know what, we're not disagreeing with the intent, but that the state really needs to step forward and fund it based upon that.
Move it. I'll second it. Moved by Mr. Gillen, second by Mr. Monte.
One of the things I found interesting in there was that in 1990, the state covered approximately 46% of probation costs. In 2016, that had dropped to 9%. So that shift has been constantly going from the state back to locals, back to the counties. And this would just be another unfortunate step in terms of financial obligation to the county if in fact this passed at the state level and failed to provide any funding to accommodate it. So,
I just want to also echo what probation has stated, that my office, Carl Rubino, will then get an exorbitant amount of work with these 17 and 18-year-olds coming in the JD. And if you would like, I've had him do some research on this. He's pretty well versed in it. He's actually in Albany done a seminar on it. So I could have him come before the board if you want to hear some additional information. The law is poorly written also. There's a lot of holes in it. But if the board would like, I can have him come and give a presentation. Okay.
Anybody else? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions for Julie? If not, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Public Defender, Mr. Botel?
I have nothing to report, but everyone else has been coming up, so.
You gotta take your turn.
Does anybody have any questions for Brandon? Okay. Laid out pretty good. I see the district attorney just came back in. Does anybody have any questions for the district attorney while she came back in? If not, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, the county attorney has a couple of things.
I just have a couple of things, since you're basically all here. Regarding the tax sale, 2012 and 2013s have been completed, all the abstracting. The 14s, the last of the 15s have just come in today, so all the abstracting has been completed. We started the action with respect to the 12s and 13s. The redemption date is June 1st. After that, it's usually a couple months after that, we can have a tax sale. So we could have a tax sale on 12s and 13s in August. Or we could wait a few more months until the fall and combine them all. Michael and I have been going back and forth, and I'm not sure how we're going to proceed. We may just have two separate ones, I don't know. But just for everybody's edification, that's well underway, and we'll be all caught up with our tax sales by the end of the fall. So, second thing, I'd like to ask for a brief executive session for purposes of legal advice regarding the Bast-Hatfield lawsuit. This won't take long, but because you're all here, I'd like to get some input.
Somebody want to move that? Moved by Mr. Mega, second by Mr. Whitson. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. We're going to executive session. Can I have a motion to go back into the regular session? Moved by Mr. Moore, second by Mr. Megan. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carries. Nothing was decided in the back room, no minutes were taken. Anybody else have anything to come up before the committee? If not, we stand adjourned. Thank you very much for your patience.